All right, so if you've been following along, in the last video, we set up our portfolio page to show off all our previous work. In this next one, we're going to deploy to Vercel, and we're also going to fix up mobile styling so that it looks mint on the phone. So let's get into it. All right, so the next piece is adding the SendGrid API to our app so that we can actually send the email when we hit submit. So what I've done in the meantime, just quickly, is jumped onto SendGrid, created an account, and now I've jumped into settings, API keys, and created an API key. I've then added that API key as SendGrid API key to my env local so that we can use it. And then also remembering that when we deploy this, we're going to need to add it into Vercel as well. Okay, so the first step of the puzzle is to create, so at the moment we just got this hello route, which isn't very useful. But what you can do is, let's see, what kind of request type is this? So if we check out, I think it's API/hello. There we go. So this endpoint here, when you hit this endpoint, it's just saying hello, and it's giving you some JSON. But what I've got is, in a previous project, I'm going to grab the code. But what first piece here is to change this into contact, because that's what we're going to call it. It's going to be API/contact. I'm going to drop that in here. So we've got this thing currently does two things. It posts to Slack as well as sends email. So we need to install this package, SendGrid Mail. So we'll just quickly grab that one. I'm just double checking. Yep, SendGrid Mail. So what we need to do here, we just stop our server and we just go yarn add SendGrid Mail. All right, that's done. So we can go yarn run dev. Cool. Now, SendGrid API key, we've got that. This is just complaining. It's like, hey, it might not exist. And I'm like, yeah, cool. Well, let's do that. It doesn't exist. Just set it to an empty string, but we know that exists. So now what we got here, we got email, message, email, message, and name. We also have mobile in our form, so we're going to add that in. So this will be the request body. So when you do a post request up, we're going to send these parameters. We don't require mobile, but we do require your name, email, and message. So that's fine. So we're going to, if we don't have one of those, we're going to just return a 400 with this JSON. Otherwise, we're going to try this. We're going to SendGrid. So this is going to go to my secret email, which you're not allowed to know. And then this is going to be a website inquiry. And it's going to be no reply at kengrief.com. And the reply to is going to be the person who sent it and their email. And it's going to be a new message from their name. Cool. And the text is going to be this. So, you know what I can do here? I'm just going to pump in the mobile number here as well, so that if I'm looking in the subject, I can quickly see. If you just want to do a quick phone call, you can. And that's it. So we're awaiting SendGrid's API to do this. And then we're going to catch any errors and return those in an array. And if that works, and it all works past, we're going to return success true. So let's give that a spin. So what we're going to do is, inside of the hook, we're going to do a post request. So I've got a little piece of code here that I'm going to grab. So back to our contact form hook. We're going to add a method here, which is submit form. Now what that's going to do is going to take in the params, and it's going to be the data type of default state. So then if we look at the data, what's it going to look like? That. Then we're going to do await fetch using the fetch API. We need API contact, which if you look at this, API contact matches there. Post, we're going to submit application JSON, and we're going to stringify the data. And then we're going to just await the response. If the response is not okay, we're going to throw errors. Otherwise, all good. So let us see how we go here. So that's the submit form, and that's all good. So now we're going to jump back into the contact form and have a look at how we can submit that. So we're going to add a block here. So inside of our form, we didn't create it, we just built it straight in here. So we're going to chuck a form around this whole thing. So what we're going to do here, I think just for simplicity, is we're going to also have set state over here. So we're going to grab that. And what we're going to do is, as soon as we send this, we're going to say set state loading true. So we've got to do this thing here where we got to say it's actually previous state because we don't want to override it. And we're going to return a new, Okay. So we need to add loading in here. We're going to say loading is false. And success is false. So when we start the form, we're going to say the success is false, yeah? Cool, so we're going to set that. Let's just see what it's complaining about. If we fail, we're going to say loading was false, success was false. And then if it was true, we're going to say loading is false, success was true. So let's just see what happens now. So if we have inside of the contact form, let us see. So when we go on submit, it's actually on the form. We do need a form here. So we go form on submit equals, it's called submit form. And we're going to wrap that around here. And then we're going to go chuck that on. Let's go back to our contact page. So let's see what happens. Done anything right here, hopefully. So all we actually have to do is prevent default. So what's going to happen inside of this? We're going to get E, which is the event, and then we're going to go E.prevent default because we don't actually want it to send. There we go. So we're going to say send message. That's good. So now what we can say is we're actually going to do submit form, prevent the default, and then submit the form. And params is going to be data and set state. What is going on here? Sometimes it gets a bit confused and just adds way too many things. What's data missing? Loading. Is missing the following properties: email, message. Well, it should be a partial. So data is a partial. That's probably one of the mistakes here. That's cool. That should fix that. And then set state, dispatch, set state. It's always interesting to try and write this. Come on, Copilot. I wonder if you need that. Three. Sorry. So I wonder if dispatch isn't wrapped. Import type dispatch from React. Okay, so that's fixed up all our type errors. Just got to type it properly. So let's go test@email.com and 040 test send message. Cool, that's good. So we've got the message trying to be sent, but then we've thrown a new error. Okay, so our state went loading false, loading false. Okay, so echoed it out 3 times, but we're getting somewhere. So we've hit our API. It's trying to make a call to SendGrid. It's saying, hey, champ, your token's not right. So it's obviously here, not getting the right thing. So that's cool. That should be an easy fix. So I'm just going to tidy up a little bit because it's getting a bit of noise. So we're going to clean that up. That's cool. And visually looking at this now, I just don't care about this. It doesn't add anything. That's fine. Okay, so that's all good. Now, close this. I'm just trying to tidy up my brain. So we got loading. So we want to also, what I want to do from here is I also want to return out. I mean, look, we got state there. So we can go state and we can say loading and success, right? So what I want to do here, what are you saying, bro? Okay, yep, that's fine. Loading, success. So what we can do, I think this guy has loading, is loading, equals loading, right? So, I mean, we can even set this just quickly to test what it looks like. That's what it's going to look like when it's loading. So when that's loading there, and then when this is all good, we actually want to say when success, and yep, that's it, CodePilot. You're going to say message was sent successfully. Right, just to let people know, hey, something actually happened. I have noticed on a lot of websites they do neglect to do that. Let's just see where that's coming. Is that coming anywhere? What I'm also going to do, I'm just going to say if true is equal to true, just so we can render it quickly. I'm going to turn that into a box over here, move that up. And we're going to go padding 4, box isn't imported. We're going to say padding, we're going to say border equals 1 pixel solid. We're going to say border radius is large. Cool. And that's going to be border color. Gray 100 to match the rest. So that even looks like a gray 200. Message was sent successfully. I'm going to do this actually in black. So I don't need a border. The background color is black. And then we want white text. So we're going to go color equals white. There we go. So when that happens, I want to show that so that people know something happened. Margin bottom 4 as well. So as soon as you send, boom, that comes up there and you're ready to go. Cool. So the next thing is let's just fix this email, this issue. So I'm going to quickly pause. I'm going to double check my API key and make sure it's all set up properly. Be right back. Okay, so the only problem there was I had it as SendGrid API token and not SendGrid API key. So what I'm gonna do is just restart Next, and let's go back. Cool, message was not sent successfully, champion. So let's just fix this. So we're gonna say success. Cool, all right. So my name's Ken and my email is ken@email.com. My mobile is this. And my message is, hey Ken, it's Ken. Great, let's see what happens. We hit send. Let's pull up just get the terminal going here. We hit send. Bad request. Well, that's not useful, is it? Let's see what's going on there. So we should be getting a response body. So we need to see what this error message is. So what we'll be able to see inside a network, hopefully, bad request, that is not helpful. Okay. I wonder if it's this. Where can we send this to? Okay. Let me test that one and be right back. All right. So the problem with that one was I just had the from email. You need to create a sender. You need a verified sender in SendGrid, a sender identity. So I hadn't done that. And then also what you need to do is you need to make sure that sender identity, the email that you're sending from, so when you're setting up the API, that email needs to match. Otherwise, SendGrid will say forbidden. So, but anyway, we now have liftoff. So we can send messages. We can say, hey, it's Jeffy here, and hit go, and that email will be sent. Another thing you could do here is clear the form, but sometimes it's good just to leave it, depending on the use case. So that brings us to the close of that one, which is sending email from our contact form using the SendGrid API straight into our message box, and we don't have to expose our own email addresses so that the bots can spam us. So that's that one. So the only other thing that I want to do before deploying this is actually probably just having some social icons down here, or we could even put them up here. But I think maybe we can chuck them here. The other thing that will need to be worked on, but I mean we can save this for the next phase, is making this website mobile friendly, because at the moment I believe we're going to have a little bit of a spaghetti mess on an iPhone 12 given this. So what we'd want to do here, let's dive in just quickly. So what we'll want to do here is actually return null, just quick to see what it looks like. We don't want to have this, and we also want to fix the layout. So we're going to have to just, based on, it's actually quite easy to do because we're using responsive props here. So we can say display, and we can say, so in mobile, we're going to say none. Otherwise, we're going to say flex, right? So in mobile, we got nothing, yeah? And then if we jump out of mobile and we go back to desktop, it's going to rock up. It's going to say, hey, we're here to party. Now, if we're using our default layout, we can do something here as well. So we're going to say, so this margin left here, this is causing problems for us because we actually don't want that inside of mobile. So what we're going to do, and this is just why I love responsive props. It's so easy. We're going to say margin left in 0, otherwise it's 200, right? What do you complain about? We need an array. Chuck that in. Cool. Great. Now with the same thing here. So we're going to say the width of it is in mobile, 100%. Otherwise, we're going to do our calc. Right? And that's it. So now we've already got a pretty decent looking form. And then the thing that we want to do here is we don't want to pad it by 12 in mobile. What we're going to probably do is 6. Otherwise 12. And how's that look? So just within that, we've already making this whole thing look way better. Inside of the search here, I'm also going to do the same thing. So this is a style props. It's going to be a bit harder. So we'll probably fix that up. But for now, it's looking pretty good. So catch you on the next one. Okay, so what we're going to do is fix up the search component so that it works with mobile. Just make sure it's wide enough, maybe even go 100% on that one. So let's dive in. So the first point that I think we should try and do here, or the first thing I should say, is let's try to put this into a flex with the width of 30% and just see what happens and see if that kind of fixes, and we can remove the width from the form itself. So I'm going to just get rid of this. Okay, so that is not 100% right. It's sitting there. Let's just see why that is. So we have the form. So if we set the form width to 30%, so it's of its parent. What is going on here? This should be 100%. Okay, so we can do here, so we can chuck the style back in, and we just say width of 100%. That's that. That says basically looks the same as what we had before. And now if we jump into mobile, that's tiny. So we want to fix that. So what we're going to do here is, again, using our responsive props, we're going to say in mobile, we want 100%. And in desktop, we did 30. So in mobile, we got a full width there. And then when we jump back to desktop, what do we have? We have the 30% there. So that looks good. All right, on to the next one. So let's see, let's chuck it in mobile view and so we're missing something super important. How do we navigate? Can't do that. So we're going to need in here, let's chuck in a button, right? And this is going to be nav just for now. Chuck that in there. Little button, nav. And then what we're going to do is we can use just a drawer here to navigate. So we're going to have basically another navigation, or sidebar nav. So if we just open up Chakra, we can just pull in a basic drawer. And what does that look like? So this is that's what I'm talking about. So we're going to say we need a draw. That guy. Let's just fix this up. Yes, prettier would be so handy right about now. So we're going to chuck a draw over here. Excuse me. So we're going to just chuck that in here. You know what I'm going to do? I might just create a component here called mobile nav. navigation. Just so we can keep this all tidy. Mobile navigation, and we're going to grab that from the header. We're going to grab this piece, which is imports the draw. Let me get rid of this. And then what we're going to do here is we're going to import mobile navigation, and instead of that we're going to just do this. Cool. Sweet. So save that, and now we're just going to say nav, and this is a draw, and is open. We're just going to say is open for now because we want to just style it. What else do you need in here? The draw overlay, the draw content. Add that in. Draw content, draw overlay, fix the indentation. What is this guy saying to us? It's missing an on close, so we're going to say on close. It's just a new function. Close. Okay, we need to import these guys. Sweet. What are we looking like? Yeah. Cool, so that's what it looks like. So it'll slide in from the right. Let's just see. Boom, like that. Awesome. Now we can use the draw header. Does that live inside of the content? Yes. We also need the draw close. Close button. Sweet. This is just going to be. We actually probably don't need a header for the navigation, but we can leave it there. There's the close button. So on close, when you click that, it's going to trigger our function. Close. Cool. So we're going to pass in the is open prop here, and we're also going to pass in the on close callback. So the on close callback is just a void function because we don't pass anything in or out. Is open is a boolean, and that's coming in. So we're going to say is open is equal to is open, and on close is going to be that. Now where we use it, so what we're going to do here is, I mean, realistically, this is pretty basic. So what we're going to do is just going to go import use state from React. And in here, we're going to say const is open, set is open. So, I mean, we can be a bit more specific here. Is nav open and set is nav open. And we're going to start with false. And then this is just going to be is open and on close is going to be set is nav open, but it's a function here, and what we're going to do, we're going to just set this to be the opposite of is nav open. So if nav is closed, we click it, it's going to open it. If it's open already, let's just see. Oh, we need to trigger that here as well. So when we click on the little button, we're going to say on click. We're going to set the nav as open to the opposite. Right, there we go. Close, open, close. Great. That's cool. So that's our mobile nav. Now, obviously this is not very good looking, but we'll fix that in a second. So in here, in the meantime, let's see what else we have. We have draw body. So we don't need the footer. But what we want to have in here is we can basically copy what we've done in the sidebar, which would just be the list item and the unordered list. So we're going to grab that. and chuck it in here. So we're going to grab those guys, and then I'm just going to copy it so that we have almost exactly the same looking thing here. And you could, to keep it dry so that you just have to update links in one place, you could even just export those, like the children somewhere. But for now, just for keeping it simple, I'm just going to do this. So tab that in, tab all this in. We need our next link. So we'll grab that, import next link from, nope, not from a public client. There we go. Draw body, we need that. Cool. Chuck that up there. We don't need any of these guys. So we can get rid of them. Let us see what we have. So open up. Okay, cool. That's because it's all white. So we don't want that. So we want the color. Just remove the color. There we go. We don't want that much padding. 2 or even 1, it looks like will probably match that. Almost 0 actually. Get rid of that. There we go. And then what we're going to do with that border, that underline, probably just go gray 100. Like that. So now we've got our sidebar nav. Pretty simple. Now if you click projects, that's cool. There's a problem there. About, home. So that grid looks good. So that all mobile friendly. The projects aren't, right? That's not right. So we'll move on to the project tile quickly. And what we're going to do here is, if we're in mobile, we're just going to change the flex direction just so it sits on top of each other. So all we do here is flex direction here, column and row. Yep, that's it. So we look like this. So that's pretty good. What we do want to do here though is I want to actually set this picture to go all the way. So here we got a fixed width. What we're going to do is in mobile we're going to go 100%. Otherwise we're going to go that 320. Did that work? Oh, that's going 100% of this here. So there's a 70%. So here as well, again, we're going to set that to 100%. Otherwise 70. There we go. That looks pretty cool. And then we're just going to pump a little bit of margin bottom, which we can probably leave here always. Margin bottom. Just give it 4. Even in desktop, that'll be fine because you won't notice. You won't notice that. And that's it. I might even give it a bit more. Give it 8. Just breathe. Give it some breathing room. And that's that. So that looks good. So projects looks cool. Home looks cool. This needs to fix. All right. So what we're going to do next is quickly fix this text up here on the main screen. So that's in pages, index, this text here. I'm a software engineer. So again, using our favorite responsive props. Bang that out. 100%. Look at that. That's awesome. Okay. This is looking real cool. Everything. I mean, we can do this fix this form too, actually. This contact form. Here, we got this 70, our friend 70%. There we go. Got full width. I wonder what button colors we have. Gray's not that fun, is it? Got the blue. Gee whiz. Got a few things here. I don't mind the Twitter color. Some fun thing is I'm colorblind actually, so it's all pretty standard for me. I mean, let's even go green. So if we go button color, Let's try green. See what that looks like. How's that look? Hey, that's not what we want. Green. Color scheme. That's what you want. That's all right. Standard old green. That's good. All right, nav. So what we want to do here is let's fix this nav up. So in the header, what we're going to do is this button, we need to find an icon for this button. So that'll just go in here. So let's find an icon. So we're using Chakra icons. Let's find that. What do we have? Burger, hamburger icon. There it is. That's the one we want. So we want hamburger icon. And we're going to just shove that right here. Let's see what that looks like. Yay, hamburger icon. And what we're going to do is we're going to change the button style to just be a outline. So that's variant outline. Chuck that in. There we go. All right, so now, and then on this guy, we want to also just, I'm just going to fix this up. And we're going to say margin right is 4, at least. Now, the only thing here, that's cool. So that's what we have there. It looks pretty decent. Yep. Search and search works. Let's see search. There we go. Our search results are good too. Oh, we haven't checked inside here. Okay. So we've got a little bit of an issue in here. I mean, this looks okay. The code looks cool. It's just the YouTube vid. So let's just check inside of this. What's going on here? I wonder. YouTube embed. I wonder why it's not. That's interesting. It's overflowing. So that one I'll sort out later. I'm not too fussed about that right now. Okay. What else? What have we missed? Everything looks good. Everything works. Okay. I think that's it pretty much. So what's next is actually deploying this bad boy. So let's try and get that into the live time and see how we go. So I'll get you on the next one. Actually, I've just noticed something. We've got little burger menus sitting here in desktop. And that is definitely not what we want. And also a little useless import. So we'll just remove this. So what we're going to do here with this little button is we're just going to say display. And we're going to say block or none. That's it. Gone. Chuck it back into mobile. There you are. Thank you very much. That easy. Okay. Let's do this. Let's see how we go. So the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to add a new project. We're going to import a Git repo from KenGrief. We're going to import this one, KenGrief. It's a Next.js project, yes. Don't have to do anything crazy here, but we do need to fill in these environment variables. So I'm going to do that, and then we'll keep moving. Okay. So what I've done is I've added in my Contentful space ID, my Contentful management token, or management key, whatever that one was, and then the SendGrid API key as well into the environment variables over here. And now what we can do is we just hit deploy, but before we do that, let us push up all our changes. So I'm being naughty, I'm working on the main branch, which you should never do. Nah, you can do it as long as you're the only person. But so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just publish all these changes. So this is gonna be, so that's so production ready, pages, commit that, push that up, let that go. All right, now what we're gonna do is just hit deploy. Now there are a few things we still need to do. We do need to set up the domain name so that it points back here. But what we're going to do is I'm just going to see if this builds properly. So we'll let this run, do its thing. And then we're also going to double check, we want www.kengrief.com to point to Vercel. It's a little bit of config there, but let's just let this thing run and we'll be right back. Cool, so we have a little bit of an issue. Let me just move that across, there we go. So you can see here, a little issue with the build, but what I can see happening is that it's doing linting and checking the validity of types. ESLint. Yep, I don't care about that. We don't care about that. My apologies, TypeScript. Ignore ESLint during build. Push that up. Third time lucky. This is always the game. So we go again. Here we go. Just waiting for the build. Okay. We're building here. What do we have? Looks promising. Spitting out our lambdas. Built our page. Done. Deployment completed. Now, what is it doing? It's busy assigning it to our really cool domain names. Not the best. Nah, it's awesome. Thanks, Vercel. But here, if you just jump in, what do we have? Do we have something? Look at that. Look at that. We are in production. We've got some projects. I love that. We've got about, contact. The lads are on. So what we need to do now is get the domain name working. So we do that. Now, bear with me. We do that in settings. We do that in domains. And we say we're going to add a domain name, and it's going to be kengrief.com, because that's my name. And we want an add www to redirect. Yes, that's what we want. And let's see. So it's going to ask us. So here we need to set the A name in our DNS to this. So let's just do that quickly. Chuck that on. And we go save. So now that's all good. Now let's see, this guy's going to keep refreshing. There we go, valid config. And now what we need to do is www needs to go to cname. Hey, what are you up to, champ? I was busy with that. Found it. Cheeky. Here we go. So we need to update this, www, edit that. And instead of routing to there, we're going to go to there. Save that guy. All right. Let's go back to domains. Okay. CNAME. Okay, let us see. Where are you? What happened to you, champ? Kengrief. Settings. Domains. Let's check in status. We're on. All right, we are on. Kengrief.com. A little certificate. All good from Let's Encrypt. Secure. Projects. About. Contact. Homepage. That's it. We're done. Thank you very much for staying tuned, if you did stay tuned. But we got many more videos coming. So yeah, if you like that, or if you have any tips or recommendations or something you want to see, let me know. Thank you. Bye.